What's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and technically doing a Levia-Dragon Daedalus deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this for you guys because this deck is an awesome deck that revolves around summoning out such an old school boss monster like Levia-Dragon Daedalus. And with all of the new Kairyu support that we got out of Duels from the Deep, it makes this deck super consistent to be able to summon out our boss monster. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell on there so you can become part of Notification Squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards, like getting your name searched for a single video, getting us signed cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month you're a patron. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Levia-Dragon Daedalus. This card is absolutely insane, and just such an awesome nostalgic boss monster, with a super simple effect that you can send one face-up Umi you control to the graveyard to destroy all other cards on the field. That is a very simple but very effective effect on this card, and with cards like a legendary Ocean in this deck, you only have to tribute one monster to put this card on the field. But I have some really awesome tech cards in this build that you don't even have to tribute to summon this card. I then play 3 copies of Ocean Dragon Lord Neo Daedalus. This card is super easy to summon in the deck and actually is a misprint because the first edition copies of this card did not include its summoning requirements on this particular card. But this card's actual summoning requirement is to tribute a copy of Levia-Dragon Daedalus to instantly special summon this card from your hand to your side of the field. And it also has the ability that you can send an Umi from your side of the field to the graveyard to send all cards in both players' hands and field to the graveyard except this card, which is a really interesting effect. But the first edition copies of this card out of the structure deck, the 4th structure deck that we ever got, actually do not include the original way to summon this card and just treat it as a 2 tribute monster. But the actual true effect of this card is you have to send a Levia-Dragon Daedalus from your side of the field to the graveyard to special summon this card from your hand. I then play 3 copies of Ice Jade Tremora. Ice Jade Tremora is a really good 3 of the deck because it has the ability to send this card from your hand to the grave to special summon a water monster from your hand, which we're always going to use to summon out our Levia-Dragon Daedalus directly from our hand to our side of the field, which is a really good effect just to get our monster out on the field as quickly as possible. I then play 3 copies of Ocean Dragon Lord Kairyu. Kairyu is a great 3 of in the deck. That has a really powerful effect that while Umi is on the field, each player can only control 1 face-up non-water monster. And if a player controls 2 or more, they must send some to the graveyard so they only control 1. And during your main phase, you can add from your deck to your hand an Umi, Kairyu, Spell or Trap, or a Sea Stealth Attack, Spell or Trap from your deck to your hand, which is a really awesome effect to be able to grab the exact card that you need, like a copy of Umi to be able to use with your copy of Levia-Dragon, which is just such an awesome effect. I then play 3 copies of Warrior of Atlantis, which has the ability to send itself from your hand to the graveyard to be able to add from your deck to your hand a copy of a legendary Ocean, which is really good to be able to get to as quickly as possible in this deck. I'm then playing 3 copies of Electric Jellyfish. Electric Jellyfish is a walking negate for monsters and spells while you control Umi, which is a really good effect. It also has the ability that you can send an Umi from your hand, deck, or face from your side of the field to the graveyard to special summon a water monster from your hand, which comes in extremely handy to summon out our copy of Levia-Dragon, which is just such a good effect. And while your opponent activates a monster effect or a spell effect while you control Umi, quick effect, you can negate the activation, and then this card gains 600 attack and defense, which is a good effect to just boost this card up. And then play a single copy of Doom Kraken, because Doom Kraken is just a good 1 of in the deck to be able to use with all sorts of different effects to be able to protect your monsters, because it has the ability, Umi is on the field, quick effect, you can target a water monster you control, accept a copy of Doom Kraken, and then 1 monster that your opponent controls, special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, return your monster to the hand, and if you do that, destroy that opponent's monster. And then when an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can return this card to your hand, and if you do, negate the attack, which is a pretty good effect. And then play a single copy copy of Mega Fortress Whale. Mega Fortress Whale is a good 1-up because it actually has the ability of Umis on the field. You can activate this effect that your water monsters can attack directly this turn to help you OTK the opponent. And it's a really good card because during your opponent's battle phase, quick effect, you can target a monster your opponent controls and destroy that target, which is an insanely powerful card effect. I then play a single copy of Giga Gaga Gigo. Giga Gaga Gigo is a good 1-up to work with your copy of Fish Sonar to be able to just instantly special summon this card to your side of the field because it actually has the highest stats of any level 5 water monster. And with a Legendary Ocean, if you do draw into this card, you can normal summon it to your side of the field, and a Legendary Ocean will boost it up by 200 attack points, boosting it up to 2650 on normal summon. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing a single copy of Terraforming because we want to get to our copy of a Legendary Ocean as quickly as possible in this deck. So you're using this card to be able to get to your copy of a Legendary Ocean. 2 copies of Sea Stealth 2. Sea Stealth 2 is in the deck at 2 in this particular build because this card becomes Umi while on the field or in the graveyard, which can help out a lot with your copy of Levia-Dragon Daedalus. And your opponent cannot target water monsters you control with non-water monster effects. And at the start of the battle phase, you can special summon from your hand or grave one monster that mentions an Umi or a water normal monster in defense edition, but destroyed at the end of the battle phase, which is pretty good just to add an additional protection on the field. I then play 2 copies of Fury of Kyrushin, which Fury of Kyrushin is a really powerful card because it can add torrential tribute from your deck to your hand, and if a water monsters or water monsters you control would be destroyed by card effect, then you can banish this card from your graveyard instead, which can protect your water monsters from your copies of Leviathan Dragon, which is really good. I then play 3 copies of Fish Sonar. Fish Sonar is a great searcher in the deck because it has the ability to add a level 7 or lower water monster from your deck to your hand that mentions Umi or is a water normal monster. Then, if Umi is on the field, you can special summon out a water normal monster from your deck, which is always going to be your copy of Giga Gaga Gigo that you're going to be summoning to the field off this card's effect. I then play 3 copies of Pot of Extravagance. Pot of Extravagance is really good because we don't really go into the extract in this particular build, so Pot of Extravagance is just a really good card to banish 6 and draw 2. I then play 3 copies of a Legendary Ocean. A Legendary Ocean is a crazy powerful old school field spell that this card becomes Umi while it's on the field, or this card is always treated as Umi, and it has the ability to reduce the level of all water monsters in both players' hands and field by 1, and then all water monsters gain 200 attack and defense, which is really good because it downgrades your monsters to level 6, like your copy of your Leviathan Dragon to a level 6, making it where you only need 1 tribute to summon it. But with cards like Tremora and your Electric Jellyfish, you're not even going to have to tribute to be able to summon it. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. By the way, I will mention Ocean Dragon Lord Neo Daedalus is the only card that this card cannot summon in the monster or for the monsters in the deck besides your Tremora, which is really important for this card because your copy of your Ocean Dragon Lord Neo Daedalus is actually a level 8. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, I'm going to be playing a single copy of Sea Stealth Attack. Sea Stealth Attack is a good 1 in the deck because when this card is activated, you can activate a Umi from your hand or grave. And then while Umi is on the field, you can activate one of the following effects that once per turn, you can manage a water monster that you control. And until the end phase of this turn, face-up spell and traps you control cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects, even if this card leaves the field. And at the start of the damage step, if your water monster battles, whose original level is 5 or higher, battles an opponent's monster, destroy that opponent's monster. I then play 2 copies of Torrential Tribute just in case we need to board wipe in the deck, and then 2 copies of Dark Reef. Dark Reef is really good in the deck. Kyrushin's Dark Reef is absolutely insane. I have bumped it down to 2 in this particular build. I usually like this card as a 3-up, but I have bumped it down to 2 because I play Sea Stealth 2 as a 2-of in this build. But you send a face-up Umi you control to the graveyard to special summon up to 2 water monsters with different names from your hand or deck that mention Umi or are water normal monsters in defense edition. Then, if your opponent controls a monster, you can special summon any number of level 6 or lower water normal monsters from your hand or deck, and until the end of the next turn, after this card resolves, you can't special summon monsters except for water monsters, which is the only downside of this effect, but all we play is water anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. But this card actually helps you get your copy of your Leviathan Dragon to your field extremely quickly, but I found that 2 works best in this build. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, I'm going to be playing 3 copies of number 4. Number 4 is a really good card in the deck. You don't want to make this card with your copy of Kairyu-Shin on the field, because this card is going to turn everything into water, and then your opponent can only control one other water monster on the field. So this card will actually work against your copy of Kairyu-Shin. So you want to make this card when it's not on the field. But this card is still a really good card in the deck, because it has the ability to all face-up monsters on the field become water, and then once per turn, during the main phase, quick effect, you can destroy 1 water monster your opponent controls, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to half that monster's attack it had on the field. And if this Sexy Summon card is destroyed, then you can special summon out stealth spawns from your extra deck up to the number of materials this card had, and then attach a water material to each one of them from your graveyard that you special summon to your side of the field. I then play 3 copies of Stealth Spawn. Stealth Spawn is a really good 3 of the deck to summon off your copy of number 4, which is why I play it as a 3 of in this particular build. 3 copies of Bahamut Shark, because you're always summoning out Bahamut Shark in this deck. This is going to be the main card that you're going to be summoning in the deck all the time, because you can detach a material from this card, and then summon out your copies of Totally Awesome, which is a walking negate in this deck, which is just absolutely crazy. This card is really good to be able to summon to the field to protect your plays. I then play 3 copies of Double A Zeus. Double A Zeus is just here in case we need to go ahead and board wipe the field, and sometimes you will with your copy of Bahamut Shark make this card with your copy of number 4, attack a monster, pop a card with your copy of number 4, and then you'll make Zeus in main 2, which is pretty good. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. You can also include copies of Abyss Dweller in the extra deck if you want to lock down the opponent's graveyard, but that is an option for you guys. But that's it for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Definitely tell me what you think of this deck down in the comments down below. I've wanted to build this deck for a long time, because being able to summon Levia-Dragon Daedalus is just so cool, because I actually remember trading for this card back when I first started playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And it's just such a cool card that I've had ever since. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.